Imagine driving 3 days to visit your son, only to have him yell at you when you get there. Don't tell anyone you're my dad, just say you're a contractor passing through. I was still clutching my duffel bag next to my old pickup truck, covered in 3,000 miles of dust when the insult hit. In Short Hills, image is money. Tonight I'm going to spend the truth, regardless of who goes bankrupt. Before I reveal the next part, comment on what you think will happen. I drove 3 days east to Short Hills, New Jersey, the pickup humming through deserts that turned into turnpikes, coffee cooling in paper cups, motel ice clattering into plastic tubs. Mile after mile I rehearsed what fathers say when they see the life their sons built. Proud of you. Place looks solid. Maybe I'd hang a small shelf in the garage, leave a few tools for him to borrow. By late afternoon the hedges got sharper, lawns greener, and the houses started looking like they'd been ironed. I pulled up to the curb and stepped out into air that smelled like cut grass and money. His SUV shone under the porch lights. Mine wore its miles in dull metal and road dust. Evan came down the walk fast, eyes skimming the street before they landed on me. He stood too close, voice low and hard, and told me not to claim him. If anyone asked, I was a contractor passing through. The words hit from the side, the way a misjudged load shifts on a dolly and slams your hip. A woman in tennis whites paused with her dog, measured us, and kept moving. I set my duffel down and waited for the rest of the sentence that never came, the one where he remembered who'd taught him to square a frame and keep a level's bubble dead center. Instead, he took the bag and used his body to shield me from the street like a problem that needed staging. The garage rolled up, white light flooding shelves labeled to the inch. Everything had a place. I wondered where a father went. Inside, cool air breathed vanilla and control. The entry tile reflected us back like a truth neither of us wanted to look at, me with sunlines and concrete hands, him cut clean out of a magazine. He did a quick flight attendant tour. Kitchen there, powder room there, dinner in 20. He didn't point at anything that had to do with me. The living room was a showroom of soft grays and sharp edges. On the far wall, a grid of frames caught the light. Weddings, promotions, ski trips, Amalfi Whites. A hospital bracelet looped around a newborn wrist. Evan with his wife, Evan with his baby, Evan on a beach where the water looked filtered. I stepped closer and scanned each row the way I read, a footing careful, systematic, no room for guesses. Not a single picture held my face. Somewhere down the hall, a timer chimed, bright and precise. A car drifted by, headlights raking across glass, then gone. Evan cleared his throat and said dinner again, soft this time, as if tone could sand down the shape of what he'd done outside. I followed him into the hall, counting frames in my head, and the ways people edit what supports them, reminding myself to keep my weight centered. Floors can tilt. I know how to stand. The kitchen is surgical marble that never met a knife. Pendant lights calibrated like operating lamps. Mia moves through it like she's presenting a client deck. Unruffled. Precise. So glad you made it, Frank, she says, and her smile lands exactly where it should. She sets a tin I brought oatmeal cookies on the counter, then slides it into a cabinet with a soft, "We're low carb right now," like she's tucking away a word we don't use here. The dining room is laid with military accuracy. Chargers, crystal, napkins like folded birds at parade rest. A high chair waits at the far corner. Max drums plastic spoons against the tray, the only unedited sound in the house. Evan pours wine, narrating labels and vineyards and notes of, like a man who's learned the script. I sit at the end, where the table's gleam breaks into two smaller reflections and dies. Mia asks about California weather. Evan answers for me. Promotions Q4. A product launch. "We might host the firm's partners here next month," he says, glancing at the chandelier like it's a co-host. I run a finger along the edge of the marble island and say, "Solid foundation." The word is native in my mouth. Evan's smile tightens one click. "Dad, Frank does a lot of contracting out west," he says quickly, smoothing the sentence like a wrinkle he can't allow. A knock at the door. It has an HOA rhythm, polite, insistent. Evan's already moving. Liz stands framed by the porch light, clipboard tucked under her arm, tennis visor still on. "Evening, just a friendly reminder. Commercial vehicles can't be street parked overnight." She looks past Evan's shoulder to where my pickup sits like an uninvited truth. We do try to keep the neighborhood consistent. Her gaze meets mine, then flits off, the way birds avoid shiny things. "We'll take care of it," Evan says, relief washing through his voice at the chance to perform compliance. He closes the door gently, as if loudness can trigger penalties. We eat. Conversation has guardrails. Max flings peas. Mia's hand flashes, efficient, catching the chaos before it registers. Evan brings up Tuscany. The word lands with applause baked in. When there's finally a pause, I say, "Did you ever fix the settling in that back corner?" I've already felt the way the floor tells a story if you stand in the right place. Mia blinks. Evan's fork clinks the plate louder than it needs to. "We had it looked at," he says. "It's nothing." Then to Mia, "Tell him about the gala." She tells me about the gala. Names that open doors. Checks with zeros that open other doors. I nod where people nod. My hands rest in my lap, remembering anchors and footings and the way load finds the weak point if you pretend it isn't there. After dinner, Evan gathers plates, and Mia wipes invisible crumbs like she's erasing evidence. I stand, pick up the cookie tin from the cabinet, and set it on the counter. "Maybe Max will want one when he's older," I say. Mia smiles, thinner now. "Maybe on a special day." Evan walks me down the hall to the guest room, talking about tomorrow's small get-together. "Just neighbors," he says. "Keep it light." On the nightstand, a card in looping script reads, "Welcome, guest. The bedding is white enough to warn you." "Need anything?" he asks. "Just a place to put my wallet," I say. I slip it under the lamp base where I can find it in the dark. The leather's worn to the shape of my life. Inside are papers that know more than anyone at this table wants to hear. A timer beeps in the kitchen. Their oven thinks for them so they don't have to. Evan thanks me again for coming, then hesitates like he might cross a line back toward me. He doesn't. When the door clicks shut, I sit on the edge of the bed and listen to the house settle. Somewhere, air moves through ducts in clean, conditioned streams. I place my hand over the wallet and feel the weight. Tonight, after the lights go dead and the neighborhood stops watching itself, I'll go find the file where this place keeps its real story. The house goes quiet the way only rich houses do, air moving through ductwork, a refrigerator murmuring behind a wall, nothing out of place. I wait until the last light goes dark, then slip into the hall. Years on job sites taught me where floors complain. I test each board before I trust it. Laundry smells like detergent and heat. Cabinets line one wall, labeled in neat fonts. On the top shelf, a plastic bin reads important. I stand on my toes, slide it down, and ease the lid open under my phone's cold light. Mortgage packets, insurance, then the deed. My name sits where it's supposed to. Primary owner, Frank Hale. Down payment, 80%. I photograph each page, steady hands, framing the seals and signatures. Behind it, bank statements showing transfers from my account, the week I sold off tools I swore I'd die owning. Receipts with serial numbers I could recite in my sleep sanders. A table saw, the rotary hammer that chewed through 2 winters. A floor above me whispers. I kill the light and hold my breath. Water moves in a pipe, then stillness again. I turn the beam back on and keep going. The clause I knew I'd find sits in black print, like rebar, without the primary owner's signature. No refinancing, no transfer of title, no material changes. I take 3 photos of that sentence, one tight, one wide, one with my finger underlining it so I can't be told later I imagined it. I restack the papers exactly as I found them, rotate the bin so the label faces the same way, and slide it back into place. Details and foundations get those wrong and everything tilts. In the kitchen, I drink water from the tap and watch my reflection wobble in the glass. The ice maker coughs once and is quiet. Back in the guest room, I plug my phone in and scroll through the images. Page numbers, signatures, amounts, dates. Evidence logs itself when you line it up. A text lands from an unknown number. Vince from up the street backyard tomorrow at 5. Neighbors dropping by. Casual. Another text follows from Evan. Wear something cleaner. I'll set out a shirt. A soft knock. The door cracks open and Evan's arm appears. A pressed button-down draped over his forearm, tag winking. "It'll help you fit in," he says through the gap, then disappears down the hall. I lay the shirt across the chair. My own hangs on the back, soft from years of work and honest sweat. I slide the phone under my pillow, the photos warm against wood and cotton, and close my eyes knowing what holds this place up and what can bring it down. Vince's backyard glows like a catalog spread string lights hung with a level, teak furniture arranged to look accidental. Grills hiss. The air is butter and rosemary. My borrowed shirt pulls across my shoulders when I raise a hand. It smells like someone else's detergent. Evan moves ahead of me, smile polished, voice pitched to Carrie. Frank's an old friend from California, he tells Vince, and two men in soft loafers. He's a contractor just passing through. California, huh? Vince says, tongs aloft like punctuation. Weather we can only buy on vacation. Laughter lands on cue. Wine bottles tilt. A woman in linen says Nantucket, like a password. I keep my hands loose and my mouth shut. Listening's a trade, too. These people price their lives in names and places. Amalfi, Saratoga, Partners Retreat. A man named Mike talks about scaling like it's a religion. A realtor Nate slides in to narrate comps. The way soil means nothing when the right story sells the lot. Inspection on maple last week, someone says. Decks not to code. Oh, we'll eat them alive. Speaking of, Vince adds, Cole's here, town inspector, Cole. He waves a man in a navy windbreaker over. Cole shakes with the habit of someone who meets strangers for a living, eyes scanning, cataloging. Then they land on me and stop. Frank? He says, not asking. Evan's smile locks. Cole, this is... Frank Hale, Cole finishes, grin widening. You taught me to read a footing before I could spell it. Spokane. Winter of, what was it, 10 years ago? You had us pour at dawn so the frost line wouldn't grab us by lunch. He laughs, the real kind, not the party kind. Sir, I still use your trick with the blankets. There's a small shift, the way a deck gives the first time you load it. Heads turn, conversations swerve. You two know each other? Vince asks, delighted at the chance to add a connection to the night's inventory. Cole nods. Best foundation man I ever worked under. Knows soil like some people know wine. He claps my shoulder. The shirt tightens. What brings you east? Visiting, I say. Family? Cole asks. Easy. Evan jumps in. Old friend. Just in town a few days. His eyes plead for a lane change. Frank, why don't you tell them about frost heave? Cole barrels on, happy. He taught me to stop trusting pretty surfaces. Facades crack. Load tells the truth. He looks around at the lights, the perfect lines. We could use more of that out here. Silence blooms, then collapses. Someone coughs. Mia materializes, smile set to hostess. Excuse us 1 second, she says. Fingers light on my elbow as she steers me toward the side yard. Her voice drops. Please, not tonight. Evan's under enough pressure. Pressure doesn't change the math, I say. Her eyes flick to the patio, where Evan and Cole are still talking. Vince leaning in like a fan. She exhales. I know what he said to you, she whispers. He's wrong, but image. This place is cruel about it, if you care at all. I do, I say, and leave the rest unsaid. Cole finds us on the flagstone path, a business card already in his fingers. If you ever need an inspector's statement on Mr. Hale's credentials, call me. Also, if you're touching anything structural on your place, get his eyes on it. He says it to Mia, and, pointedly, to Evan across the yard. Then to me, softer. You okay, sir? Been on worse jobs, I say. We shake. His grip is solid, no performance. Back under the lights, the party stitches itself together, but a seam shows. Evan laughs a beat late. Names are dropped with more force. I can feel the story sliding out of his hands. I need air, I tell Mia, and step through the side gate. The night beyond the string lights is honest and unarranged. The garage sits along the driveway, a square of shadow with a pull cord like a promise. My fingers find it. The door rattles as it rolls. The garage smells like rubber and old dust. I pull the cord. The bulb stutters on. Shelves are labeled, bins stacked by season. Behind a coil of Christmas lights sits a cardboard box marked in black. Old things. Inside, everything is simple and blunt. A photo of Evan at 8, gap-toothed, holding a crooked birdhouse we made from scrap pine. A Little League cap, brim bent to his shape. A first real glove, the one I bought when he kept borrowing from a kid whose dad never showed. A middle school certificate with his name misspelled. I remember the bleachers and a 4 a.m. pour the next day. A folded note in block letters. Dad, can we build a bike ramp? A shop towel wrapping 3 chisels I gave him at 16. Edges I honed until they shaved hair. A graduation photo, both of us puffy-eyed, ties not quite straight. Each piece is a short sentence in a language we used to speak. No speeches, just proof. I take the graduation photo and slide it into my wallet, next to the deed with my name on it. Paper beside paper, what we built in wood, what I funded in dollars. The ache is clean and centered. I wasn't lost. I was stored. Filed behind holidays and lawn care, reachable if you want it, easy to pass if you don't. I put the rest back in order. Photo on top, cap flat, towel snug around the chisels. Lid down, box returned to its shadow. If he wants any of it, he'll have to move something to reach it. Out in the yard, the party lights throw soft circles on the fence, like little stages. My phone is cold in my hand. I scroll to Luis. "It's Frank," I say when he picks up. "Draft what we need to assert control and block any refinancing or transfers without my signature. Notices, timelines, we do it by the book." "Understood," he says. "No sympathy, no theater." "Good." I hang up and stand in the hum of the bulb. The decision sits in me like rebar straight, deliberate, unbending. Tomorrow I won't be a guest in a house my money holds up. I'll be the foundation again. They're still under the string lights when I step back from the garage. Laughter, wine, perfect plates. I walk to the patio table, lay my phone flat, and open the deed photo. "Evan," I say, voice steady, "you told me to pretend I wasn't your father because you're afraid my truck and my hands will hurt your image. Let's talk about what actually holds this place up." Heads turn. Vince quiets the music. Liz from the HOA drifts closer. Mia's smile hardens. Evan tries to laugh. "Frank, not here." "Here," I say, and tap the screen. Primary owner, Frank Hale. Down payment, 80%. Clause 12. Without the primary owner's signature, no refinancing, no transfer, no material changes. Mia steps in fast. "He helped. We're grateful, but this is our home." "You hid me at the curb," I say. "Asked me to be a contractor passing through. Not because of facts, because you're ashamed of where you came from." Evan's voice spikes. "I did what I had to do. People judge. This neighborhood judges truth worse than lies." I look around. I built foundations 40 winters. Facades crack. Load doesn't lie. You wanted my money quiet and my name gone. Cole lifts a hand. "He's not bluffing. Frank taught me foundations in Spokane. Best I've seen. If he says he owns majority and the clause blocks changes, believe him." Nate the realtor leans over my phone, reads, whistles low. "That's iron." Liz folds her clipboard. "If Mr. Hale is the primary owner, HOA notices and approvals default to him." The air shifts. Conversations thin. A couple steps back from Evan like heat. Evan jabs a finger at me. "You came to humiliate me. You did that in your driveway," I say. He crowds closer. "You don't belong here, look at you. You don't understand this world." "I don't need to," I say. "I understand deeds and signatures." Mia's voice goes sharp. "You can't just walk in and cancel our life. We have schedules, partners coming, plans. Plans built on pretending I don't exist," I say. "Here's my plan. Starting now, no permits, no events, no contractor bids move without my written consent. Ho deals directly with me. Tomorrow you'll get formal notice by email and certified mail. Appraisal will be scheduled. Occupancy terms will be put in writing." Vince tries a joke, then thinks better of it. "Man." Evan snatches for my phone. I lift it away. Wine splashes across teak. Max startles in his stroller and starts to cry. The sound cuts clean through the room. "Shame isn't a strategy," I say, looking only at my son. "You can be embarrassed of me. You don't get to erase me." He bares his teeth in a smile that isn't one. "Take your pity papers and go." "No," I say. "I'll leave when I'm done. Evan, forward all O emails, any contractor proposals, and the partner dinner invite list to me tonight. If you don't, my attorney will contact the township and title company Monday." Mia's jaw sets. "You're making a scene." "I'm making a record." I hold up the phone so anyone who wants to can see the clause again. "This is the record." Cole nods, to the crowd as much as to me. Load tells the truth. Silence widens. People look at Evan differently now, not at his watch, but at the gap where gratitude should be. I pocket the phone. Tomorrow morning, I say. You'll have my notice. No more pretending. The party stands frozen under the lights as I turn away. On my screen, the email draft to Evan and Mia waits with the deed attached and the subject line, Notice, Control of Property Decisions. Morning comes with sprinklers and silence. My phone lights before the house does. Subject, Ho, Notice Primary Owner on Record. Addressed to me, CC'd to Evan and Mia. Per deed on file, all approvals and notices will be directed to Mr. Frank Hale. Partner gathering requires owner authorization. Commercial vehicle rules apply. Please advise. The tone is polite, the way a stop sign is polite. Another buzz. Cole. If needed, I'll provide a written statement on your ownership contribution and craft competency. Township can confirm protocol. Vince wedges in a text that tries to be casual and fails. Rough night. You okay? A knock at the guest room. Mia, composed but frayed. Can we talk like family? You asked me not to be family, I say. Last night changed who I am in this house. Evan shoulders past her. Here's how this goes. Retract the email. Tell HOA it was a misunderstanding. We'll buy you out over time, fair terms. No, I say. Forward every HOA email and contractor proposal to me. Today we formalize occupancy. Until then, nothing moves. You're punishing me for protecting our image, he snaps. I'm setting terms for choices you made, I say. He laughs without humor. Our lawyer will respond. Mine already did. I tip my screen so he sees Luis's thread. Draft notice ready. Appraisal order queued. Certified mail prepared. Mia lowers her voice. We can make this quieter. Neighbors notice. They noticed. I say, nodding to the window. Two couples pass mid-whisper. Another message pings Liz from Ho. As discussed, future correspondence will route to Mr. Hale. Unapproved events may incur fines. I zip my duffel. The graduation photo in my wallet presses a neat rectangle against my hip. The cookie tin stays where Mia hid it stored, like everything else. At the door, Evan blocks me with a hand on the jamb. You're small, he says. You'd rather burn this down than admit you don't belong. I do belong, I say. I paid for the ground it stands on. Shame is not a plan. He steps aside with a theatrical sweep that doesn't match the shake in his fingers. Run back to your motel, he says. We'll fix this without you. Fixing starts with truth, I say, and pocket my keys. I walk the driveway alone. The pickup is where I left it, wearing yesterday's dust. I set the duffel behind the seat like a tool I still trust, slide in, and turn the key. The engine catches with the honest rattle I know by heart. Evan stays in the doorway, stuck between performance and the paperwork he never read. At the curb, I idle a full minute, then pull to the side and park. Only then do I text Luis one word. File. 3 dots. Filing notice of control now. Appraisal Wednesday, 10 a.m. Certified letters today. Title company looped. I ease onto the street. Vince's string lights hang slack in daylight. My phone buzzes twice on the passenger seat. I let it wait until the next stop sign. Subject. Appraisal confirmation 10 a.m. Wednesday. Subject. Title acknowledgement primary owner contact updated. In the rear view, the house recedes with every turn, the facade shrinking to its actual size. I keep my hands steady at 10 and 2 and drive west. Before October ends, the paper trail catches up with the performances. Certified receipts return with signatures. HOA updates its records. Per deed on file, all approvals and notices will be directed to Mr. Frank Hale. The appraisal hits my inbox photos, measurements, a number Evan likes when he brags, not when he has to buy. Luis calls from downtown. Demand letter sent, 10 business days. 3 options, plain as lumber. A. Wire funds to buy out my 80% at appraised value. B. List the property with a broker I select. C. Sign a market rate lease due on the 1st. Failure triggers a petition to force sale. Cole emails a 1-hepager. Years worked under me. Sites, methods, align on my contribution to this house. No adjectives, just fact. Day 10 passes. No wire. No countersigned lease. 1 email from Evan's counsel about family context and misunderstandings. Luis replies with clause numbers and a calendar. Evan calls at dusk. I let it go to voicemail, then play it in my shop with shavings curled on the bench. Dad, we can fix this. Just hit pause. Don't do anything we can't undo. He sounds like a man asking for a lighter load without moving his feet. I call back to keep the record clean. We're past pause, I say. Pick A, B, or C. You're really selling my home out from under me? You're welcome to buy it, I say. You had 10 days. You knew that was impossible. I knew it would be hard, I say. Hard isn't impossible. Mia takes the phone, voice tight and trained. Can we at least keep the partner event? Optics? No, I say. No events until ownership is resolved. That isn't optics, it's law. She exhales sharp. You're humiliating us. You humiliated me in your driveway, I say. I'm moving weight back where it belongs. The next morning, Luis files the petition to force sale. He copies me, title, and their counsel. The title company flags the file. No refinancing, no transfers, no material changes without my signature. Our broker sends a straightforward agreement. I sign. Photo shoot scheduled. Lockbox install planned with an occupancy notice attached. HOA confirms open house signage will need my consent. Vince texts an intro to a broker. I leave it unread. Liz writes, owner of record updated in system. Please advise on any exterior notices. I answer that our agent will coordinate. Evan calls again late. Street noise behind him, the sound of a man who wants passers-by to think he's fine. I'm not begging, he says, but think about Max. I am, I say. He deserves a father who tells the truth about where things come from. The truth is, I didn't want your truck in your hands to be the first thing people knew about me. The truth, I say, is you wanted my money more than my name. Silence stretches. Then, so that's it? You cut me out? I didn't cut you out, I say. You stepped out. You can step back into what's real. It won't be here. Say you're sorry for making a scene, he tries. No, I say, and end the call. The broker's listing copy avoids fiction. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, updated systems, strong foundation. That last line is true. I built it. Photos hit my email. Rooms staged to look like easy lives. The for sale sign will make the lawn smell like cut grass and fresh plastic until rain takes the edge off. People will walk through and ask about cracks. The agent will say, the base is solid. Luis's calendar alert pings. Hearing date confirmed. He adds a short note. Expect response from their counsel. Position remains strong. I sweep the floor of the shop and feel the little graduation photo in my wallet press its square against my hip. Paper next to paper. What I funded. What we were. The ocean light thins to steel, and then to dark. I turn off the radio, lock the door, and let the quiet take back the room. Some foundations can't carry what's been built on top. When that happens, you don't beg the load to be lighter. You take it down to what holds, and you stop lying about where the strength comes from. We teach success loudly and gratitude softly. That imbalance breaks more homes than storms do. The lesson here is measured. Put the weight where it belongs. Write the truth down, and refuse to let image trespass on memory. In the eyes of God, a house is either on sand or on rock. There is no third option. This family story doesn't close with forgiveness, because some debts must be paid before trust can be named again. I ask God for peace enough to stay quiet where silence speaks integrity, and courage enough to say enough when denial asked for one more chance. A family story is not only what we tell over dinner. It's the record we leave in deeds, dates, and the courage to sign our names when it matters. Justice walks slowly, but it walks. The pace of God is not the pace of parties, and outcomes worth having rarely come with applause. Let this family story stand as a reminder that what we pass to the next generation isn't just property, it's the calibration of truth. Who lifted, who hid, who stood straight when the lights were bright. I trust God to sort what hearts can't. Until then, I'll keep the beams square and the terms clear. If any part of this resonated, add a line in the comments about your takeaway and share it with someone who needs a quiet nudge toward honesty and strength.